Hi, I'm Kate Nash and you're watching WinkBall.com.
Kate, first of all, many thanks for taking the time to speak with us today at WinkBall.com. You're with us here in Liverpool ahead of your concert at the Stanley Theatre this evening. What's your best live performance to date and what makes a great gig?
I think I would have to say my best live performance was in Brazil, in Rio de Janeiro, at the beginning of the year. In February I was really lucky enough to go to Brazil to do some shows, and it was just the craziest experience, the best trip of my whole life. The crowd were just insane, like really loving, and they just go crazy at like every song, and they bought me and made me loads of gifts. And one guy asked me to sign his back, and he just recently sent me a picture, and he's got it tattooed onto his back, which is just ridiculous. But they are such a nice, like, there's just so many nice people there, and you're in Brazil as well, so total bonus.
You broke into the music industry around the same time as several other young female artists. How do you feel about comparisons between yourself and other members of that generation?
I think that's just what happens, really. That's what the media does. It compares people. People like to put everyone in a box. So it used to bug me, I think, quite a lot with my first record, because I think with your first record you're really you feel frustrated, and like you're not really an established act yet. You've just got one album. But now I've got a second record, I feel a lot more comfortable, and I just tend to ignore comparisons. I think that's just what the media does, and you can't change the fact that they're going to compare you, especially like young female artists. It's just a box that we're in at the moment, unfortunately.
You studied at the famous Brit School. Did you have a musical upbringing?
I had piano lessons from about 7 because I asked my mum we had a piano in the house and I used to play, and I really wanted to get lessons. And I just studied music at school, and then, I mean, my dad played acoustic guitar for a bit, and my parents had a lot of music playing in the house. I remember, like, you know, weekends would be like get the record player out and listen to like the Beatles and Rolling Stones and Janis Joplin and Carole King and Cat Stevens and Neil Young and Leonard Cohen and Johnny Cash. So there was a lot of like good music in my house as a kid that I would soak up. Yeah.
Are there still enough opportunities being provided for youngsters keen to get involved in the world of professional music?
I think that there are becoming fewer and fewer, actually, with a lot of the cuts that the government is making. A few people have written to me saying, oh, our local arts community is being shut down, we can't afford to run anymore, and even like, not even just like local community things, bigger places are being shut down. So I think it's a very, very important time to provide free creative opportunities for young people. I'm working currently on a project at the moment called Kate Nash's Rock and Roll for Girls After School Music Club, because I did a panel talk last year and found out that statistically there are only 14% of PRS goes to women songwriters, and PRS is the organisation that pays songwriters their royalties if their music's played in public. And I was really shocked by that statistic, and I think it was like at the time, in the previous 19 months, only 3 women have been on the cover of Q magazine in 19 months, and 2 of them are half naked. And I just think that, like, especially for young girls, there's so much negativity projected onto them about the way they look and about how they're supposed to feel about, you know, I've been interviewing loads of girls in schools, and they're all like, oh, I couldn't do music because I'm too ugly, or I have no self-esteem, I'm too shy, I'm too scared. People might say that something about the way I look, and it's really unhealthy, and it is actually damaging our youth. So I feel very passionate at the moment about working with young people and encouraging them to write their own music and to feel empowered and to feel attractive and beautiful, like, just because they don't look like a model or like what the media's idea is of hot or beautiful. It's like, that doesn't mean that they're not beautiful.
My fingertips are holding onto the cracks in our foundation, and I know that I should let go, but I can't.
The internet played a big role in the early part of your career. What role do you think the online world has played in the music industry, and how do you see it changing in the next few years?
The internet is a really weird one, because it's done a lot of good things for the music industry, and it's done a lot of terrible things for the music industry. I think that no one's quite figured out yet how to utilise it and how it benefits. I think it can benefit artists because you can take away the middleman and you can talk directly to fans and clear up anything that's written about you or in the press that isn't true, or if you want to have your own opinions and get them out there, you can directly communicate with fans. And say if I was dropped tomorrow by my label, I'd still have 40,000 fans on Twitter or 300,000 likes on Facebook, and that would be a way for me to get my music out to people that I knew existed. But there's the other side of it, which is illegally downloading music and artists not making any money from being artists, and then that's going to mean that some people can't afford to keep doing it. Yeah, and I think it's a shame. For me, I find it quite sad that the artistic side of it, buying records and buying CDs and having albums and looking at the artwork, that culture's almost disappeared. I'm selling 7 inches on my tour, and 2 girls bought some, and then they brought them back, and they were like, "Oh, we thought they were CDs." They didn't even know what it was, and it made me feel really sad that that people don't even know what vinyl is anymore. I just can't imagine not having that culture, and it's weird. Some people's whole record collection could be deleted, moved to trash. I don't get it.
We've now got a few questions that have been uploaded by viewers on WinkBall.com.
Cool.
Tom asks, do you ever get writer's block, and if so, how do you overcome it?
I always panic about having writer's block. At the moment I haven't written a song for ages, but I haven't had time. I think that if you put yourself in an environment, because everyone's individual, and I write best when I'm bored and when I'm sitting at home and I'm in my pyjamas at 3 o'clock in the day and I've watched Jeremy Kyle, and then I'm like, oh my god, what am I doing? I need to go and do something creative. So I go down into my basement and write a song. Whereas if I'm on tour and I'm doing productive things and playing live every night, my mind's completely focused on that. So I don't have the time to be creative, really, and songwrite. So for me, it's I just like to go home and get bored and read, and also soak up something normal, read a book or watch a film or hang out with my friends, and then funny things happen or interesting things happen that I want to pen down, really.
You get some real world inspiration.
Yeah, you just need to go and soak up things that, whatever it is that you enjoy or that makes you passionate or excited or sad or anything. Well, don't go and make yourself sad, but if something's happened, then you can write about it. If nothing's happening, or if you're too busy to realise what's happening, then you can't write. I don't know, it's almost a contradiction, because I write best when I'm not doing anything. But by that I mean just being at home and hanging out and no pressure of touring around and working in interviews and all the things that get in the way, really.
Which artist, dead or alive, would you most like to collaborate with?
I don't know. I never know what to say to that, because there's so many artists that I really admire, but I feel weird about collaborating with them or even saying that you're worthy of a collaboration with them, really. I'd really love to work with Joan Jett or Kathleen Hanna, Kirk Cobain. So it's the anniversary of his death today. It's 11 years. Today. Yes, today. Sad day. But I think it's 11, isn't it? I remember. I can't remember. But there's loads of artists that I really admire, but I'm not sure if I'd be able to work with them just because I wouldn't feel worthy of doing so, I guess. But Joan Jett, Kathleen Hanna, Kirk Cobain.
And finally, what are you listening to at the moment?
Brigitte Aphrodite I'm listening to. She's really awesome. She's just released a single, I Dream Myself Awake, which is really, really amazing live. A girl called Emma Chitty, her new solo project, Sugar. She's in a band called Thrush Metal as well, which is really, really cool. Brett Alimo is a really, really good solo artist. The Cribs, I always listening to the Cribs. And I always listen to Sleater Kinney, Bikini Kill, and the same things on tour, really, because I need to get into a certain mood before I go on stage. The Buzzcocks, I always love the Buzzcocks.
That's great. Well, we'll leave you to get into the mood for your concert this evening. All the best for tonight. Thank you very much for speaking with us today.
Thanks, WinkBall.com.
Girls, who have you been seeing tonight? And how was it?
Amazing! Really lovely, thanks. Hi, my name is Laura Hitchin. I've just seen Nash live and she's amazing.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Yeah?
Yeah, she's my idol.
It was
Brilliant,
great. It was
amazing.
Yeah?
Really good.
Yeah.
And the atmosphere in the place?
Yeah, brilliant.
She's too talented.
And I like that one that kissed that girl one. What's that one called?
And I will shrink up, and I will die, and I will think of 1,000 ways that I could hurt you, and you will never touch my hand.